We're good.
All right. All right. Can you see the bar, the board action request?
Yes.
I have two screens. Okay. So this is the resolution to approve to establish a conditional guaranteed maximum price with Powers and Sons.
Sharon, forgive me. I now have your calendar.
Yeah, right. That's the
Document. Thank you.
Two screens, I'll tell you.
There
Okay.
we go. Thank you.
Okay.
There we go.
Thank you. So this is to accept the conditional guaranteed maximum price proposal for the Glendale branch from Powers and Sons Construction Company. And Russell Lewis is here from Powers to be able to answer questions or to clarify anything. We are bringing this to you now because Powers and Sons has been monitoring the current market situation relating to the pricing and procurement of structural steel for the project. Following their recommendation, the decision was made to procure the structural steel subcontractor early, prior to the completion of the bidding documents. The early bidding and subsequent contracting of structural steel will mitigate the impact of significant material delivery lead times and resultant price increases relating to the work. And at this point, I guess I'd ask Russell if you would like to elaborate any more on some of the difficulties that you've had or that you're aware of in the market that prompted especially this resolution.
Yes, currently the steel market is very volatile, both on a price standpoint. The price is fluctuating greatly and in the upward direction. So the earlier we could bid this and lock someone in, then we lock in that price at current market value and not at a future market price. And then in addition to that, there's long lead times in actually getting material, especially on bar joists, which we need for this project. So by bidding now and locking in a subcontractor, then we will hope to have steel on site in January of 2022 when it would be needed. If we waited till we kick off the rest of the project, then that will push that delivery deeper into 2022, which then in turn would delay the project and cause cost escalations in different areas. So this was an attempt to mitigate the impacts of the volatility in the market.
Thank you. So following our requirements for this process, we awarded a construction manager as constructor services to Powers and Sons. And the use of the CMC delivery method does allow for enhanced bidding and contracting efforts for the local business development, as well as for customization of the bidding packages and schedules in response to prevailing construction market forces. And so you see there are typical utilization goals, which was one of our focus on this. So to promote awareness of the opportunity for businesses to participate, Powers and Sons worked with IndyPL facilities, purchasing, and diversity inclusion staff engaged in the activities of holding prior to the bidding phase. Powers and Sons actively engaged with vendors, as well as during the bidding phase of the project. The notice to bidders was sent to vendors in the Powers and Sons database, the City of Indianapolis certification database, and to vendors known to IndyPL to be interested in the services. So you have the tab sheet here. Powers and Sons, working with KRM Architecture, prepared and issued bidding documents, as well as received 8 bids on May 27th. And the apparent low bidder was Indiana Steel at $752,000, which is the recommendation. And I wanted to stop here in case you had questions.
No questions from me, Sharon. It makes perfect sense.
Okay.
Guys, can I just ask, because I just want to make sure that when we get to the board that we get a lot of questions about the MBE representation. And is there any additional information that you are able to provide that would reflect on this choice and help people not have any apprehension about whether we did all we could do?
Russell, I'm going to throw that one to you since you were the.
Sure. I guess first off is just this is a small portion of the overall project. So the opportunity will be there to have a higher level of participation, which we anticipate and expect ourselves. And then in relative to steel, structural steel in general, there's only a couple of players actually in the market. There's not a lot of companies in the marketplace that fall under the XBE category. Two of those major players are represented here in HE Metals and Harmon Steel. So we did reach out, we did talk to them, we did encourage them to bid. HE Metals, as you can see, bid. Harmon Steel did not bid the package as it existed. They did offer a erection price, but without the material that was not in the library's best interest or what we were after. So that's kind of how the bid shook out as they have at this point.
Thank you, Russell. It may not matter, but it may also come up that information will be helpful. So thank you.
Mhm.
I think that's a great explanation. I think it'll go well.
Thank you. All right, so we will take this to the full board for their vote since we don't have a quorum in this committee. Any other questions for Russell about the structural steel?
No.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Russell. Appreciate you joining us today.
Sure, no problem. If you guys don't have any additional questions for me, then I'm going to sign off.
All right,
All right,
thanks.
thank you.
Okay, and then I just have a couple of updates for you. The Lowry Road property, the old Eagle Library, we had received board approval for the sale of $400,000 from an offer. One of their conditions to that offer was that it have board approval before they proceeded. After your approval, they asked that other conditions be met, which we could not resolve. As a result, we will be relisting the property this week. Any questions about that?
Was the unresolved issues in pricing or?
Yes, they wanted to negotiate the price from there. And since we'd already had board approval for the 400,000, it just wasn't going to work out.
No questions.
Okay. And then wanted to update you on the Fort Ben project. We have had some earthwork, some additional earthwork that is needed. The soil will need to be replaced so that it's compactable to uphold the building as well as the parking lot. And we have to dig down in some areas between 2 and 8 feet to do that. So there's substantial earthwork to be done, as well as you've just heard from Russell on another project, the steel costs are going up. And so we look at that budget needing to be increased by approximately $1.4 million. We do have that capacity within the rainy day fund, which we will be using to supplement that budget to complete the project on time and as we have designed. So just wanted to make you aware of that.
So Sharon, that's going to drive up the total cost of the project
Yes.
to address these soils. And we didn't want to make the building any smaller, so that's why we're going to the rainy day fund instead of reducing the existing budget.
Correct. We have already made as many adjustments as possible when we were anticipating the steel cost. And then when we found about the soils, we went back and revisited. We have actually reduced the footprint already from 25,000 to 23,000 square feet. So we have literally worked through absolutely all other alternatives that we have to reduce the cost to supplement this additional work, and we're still falling short.
Sharon, in your professional opinion, do you think that the current trend is going to last through the end of the year, or do you see any relief in sight?
Well, I have actually asked that question of, for example, Powers and Sons, who work on many projects, kind of what they're seeing as that trend. And it's really volatile right now. There really is no prediction at this point.
Mhm. Okay.
All right, that's all that I have. Any other questions, TD?
No, no. I mean, these construction, I mean, anybody who's in it knows that it's crazy right now. And lumber costs and steel costs, everything is just,
And even where you hear hints of, yeah, people are coming back to work and maybe the mills are getting going again, there's so much pent up demand that that's making it equally difficult
yeah,
to meet deadlines and things. So I think we may need to brace ourselves for a few more surprises before Fort Bend is done. I hope not, but I just think it could happen.
absolutely.
Well, and this is the advantage of having a construction manager as constructors, because they have been very diligent in their background work, and their appraisals and estimates are ongoing. So yeah, there has been great value to that. And hopefully we have made the right assumptions, and yeah, can move this forward without another big surprise.
Right, right.
Okay.
All right, well, thanks for being here, TD.
Yes. Sorry that the rest of the committee couldn't join us today.
Yeah, it's a busy time for everybody.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thanks so much, guys. You guys have a wonderful afternoon.